From the window to the wall, we getting lit up in it, big bouncing. We does it big up in it, big bouncing.
What's up? What we're gonna do here, we're gonna include a detail we just done. So it's a mini exterior, basic interior. So I recorded most of that, and you guys can watch it. And then the exterior speaker that I want to get hooked up, I want to get it put in the truck. And but first, before it gets dark or anything, I'm gonna go ahead and get it washed really quick. I'll probably just stand you up in one spot and just get it done really fast. There's a car show tomorrow, and I might just take it. I'm not putting it in it or nothing. I still have to polish this whole thing, but I'm gonna try to get some little odds and ends buttoned up on it and in the garage before it gets too cold. And we're going on a trip in 2 weeks, so I want to make sure it's inside while we're gone. But yeah, I'm gonna get it washed really quick, clean the garage up, and finish the garage, and then get it pulled in and start hooking that speaker up. All we're gonna do right now is just start by spraying like an air freshener / fabric softener on all the carpets, and then just blowing up the dirt just to get it loosened up before we start the wash, just so we don't have dust covering the outside whenever we start on the inside. So we're doing this before we even start to wash it. This new setup has made it so much easier. We've saved about half an hour on pretty much all of our details by just having everything already pre-hooked up and ready to go. But right here, we just got our wheel cleaner and a cheap foam cannon, and we just kind of foam it up and start scrubbing. With our mini package, we do a quick motor clean on everything, so we just foamed it up with that same wheel and tire cleaner. Then we let it sit for a couple minutes and then just rinse it off. And then we start by getting the bugs and everything cleaned up, and then we move on to rinsing the vehicle off and doing a contact wash on it before we start to dry it. One big thing that a lot of people don't like to do is wash, black vehicles in direct sunlight, but we've actually got a soft water system hooked up at our house, and that's what we've been filling our tank with throughout having this whole detailing van. So it makes it a lot easier in direct sunlight. It's not DI water, but it definitely, if it dries on there, it's not nearly as hard as using like well water or even city water on anything. Then right here, we're just refoaming it really quick before we go ahead and do the rinse before we dry. So we just foamed it up just to make sure everything stayed wet while we took our time to make sure we rinsed all the soap off the paint. Now we're just using Detail Studios like waterless wash, and we're spraying it onto the vehicle and drying with that as our drying aid. He says that it adds a little bit of protection, but we're going to be putting a spray sealant on this anyways, so that it's just to lube it up as we're drying it to prevent as many scratches as we can. Alright, so now we're just doing like a good vacuum on it. We're using this little pet hair tool to help get up everything out of this carpet, and then we're just doing a good vacuum all over the whole vehicle, and that's about it. That's what we include on the basic interior, just a good vacuum, and then we're going to do a good wipe down on all the plastic. Wipe down on the interior, we use a towel that we soaked it with DI water, and then we sprayed P&S interior cleaner on it, and then a little bit of our air freshener on that same towel, and then wring it out really good, and that's what we use to wipe everything down. And for the SS, we're just doing a good quick wash on it. We don't drive it very much, so it's not that dirty. So we're actually just using the same soap that we wash the vehicles with on the wheels and tires, and just trying to give it a good quick wash before the show we plan to take it to. Alright, I didn't get as much recorded as I wanted to. I actually just took the red truck on a drive, so I just kind of cruised around in it. And then whenever I got back, instead of messing with the garage, I should have just done that, but I actually got that external speaker wired up, and I'll stand you up and I'll show you how it's all routed and everything. I might have to get a different radio because it doesn't have an audio out. It only has one slot. It doesn't have like a double. So what I'm just doing now is I'm just running it off one of the rear door speakers and just kind of jump speaker wire off the rear door speaker to it for now. What I'd like to do is get a separate amp just for it because it holds a lot of power. It can hold a lot of power, which I've got 3 amps, and so I'd like to get all the speakers on their own amp, and this external speaker on the same amp as those, just kind of get a little bit more out of it. But we've got it mounted up right here, and then you can kind of see the path of the speaker wire. It runs right up there, and it goes through the little vent on the cab, and then I kicked it through the door. But yeah, I'm gonna make sure it works real quick and take it for another ride.